see this? This is like the last 5% of my third year architecture project. Right now I'm exporting a few images from Rhino and putting them in Photoshop and doing a collage style render, overlaying images and textures, all for the love of the game. Actually, not really. I did it for a grade, to be honest. But still, I'm going to show you exactly my thought process, the major things I went through in terms of the design process, and a little bit on the personal aspect and experiences that helped shape my design.
My name is Caleb Brown, and in this video I'm going to present to you my third year, second semester design project.
Oh yeah, we ready.
This project is split into 6 boards, all with their own architectural details, diagrams, and renderings.
Why 6?
This is a fucking rubric. This project takes place in Treasure Beach, Jamaica. Its main exports are fishing, farming, and tourism. And mosquitoes! The goal of this project is supposed to be the final phase of a disaster relief housing scheme, basically transitioning people from a core home into a permanent home. A core home is basically 4 walls and a roof. Think about a typical home, but subtracting the electricity, plumbing, and basic heating systems. A lot of these homes have little to no landscapings, leaving them very bland and uninspiring. Very bland. In my first slide, I have a section and elevation of what a typical housing unit looks like. My main inspiration was the Caribbean longhouse, and thanks to the national icon of Jamaica, I was able to extrude the roof structure into a more dominant figure.
The diagram below shows how the fitting should be assembled. A major design issue with hurricane-prone areas are literally the roofs and walls being ripped out of the foundation.
Continuous structures hold up much better against all sorts of loads and forces. That, coupled with the 3-foot clearance below, allows this building to not only be hurricane resistant, but resistant to the floods and any other flash flooding events that might occur. As an African American, the typical household structure in Jamaica is quite similar to what I'm familiar with. Ask any black person, the porch means everything.
How you at?
Oh, that's cool.
Damn!
It also gives a good opportunity of having individuality between each spots.
You're able to see that more clearly when you zoom in. Note how each of the pieces come together perfectly. And this is what a typical housing unit looks like. On the right, you can see the cutout for the flower bed that could be later extruded into an ADU. And in the center, a circular vestibule, or entryway, whatever you want to call it. My inspiration for this architectural feature was actually looking at how hummingbirds nest. The scissortail hummingbird in particular makes this volcano-shaped looking nest, and I thought it was actually really cool. And my partie model is snuck in as a little piece of furniture circled on the screen right here. When you walk inside, the space is highly modular. In my example, I have the kitchen on the right side and the living quarters on the left. This render is meant to show how comfortable and protected you're to feel inside of a space like this.
Every single house and every single ADU has their own section that they could call themselves home. The community is organized into what I'm calling a tatami mat system. Taking inspiration from traditional Japanese houses, it basically has these Tetris-looking pieces that organize and fit into each other geometrically to promote natural growth. For me, it was really important to establish a concrete system of organizing each houses very early on to the project, just so later on I could better design and fit landscaping as well as other amenities like storage units onto the site. In the center of the site, there's a natural disaster shelter that also doubles as a community hall, because every studio project needs a community center. Besides the main houses, there are 2 different types of ADUs. ADUs stand for accessory dwelling units, and because it's a transitional housing piece, I thought it would be a very natural way to get more population without making the site feel overcrowded. Treasure Beach is a farming community, and so having the modular flower beds represent not only the plants that you can grow with them, but with the ADUs that you could extrude into further development. When we talked to the locals at Treasure Beach, one of their biggest concerns were the lack of resources out in the countryside. And so inside my project, I really wanted to emphasize like a staging ground for natural disaster services and for possible job trainings that could be put inside this area to help generate more income and better workers. My biggest inspiration for the community center was sitting at Treasure Beach, enjoying a good drink, and watching the crashing waves. Fun fact, you're actually not able to swim because of how rough the waves are, and so that was my direct inspiration of the ripple effect inside the roof of the community center. And when you mix that with an outdoor art gallery, then you really have a staging ground for more than just disaster response units, a staging ground for an entire community.
Because as soon as people get out of the whole, what the fuck, I was just in a natural disaster phase, they get their sense of taste back. And so being able to provide something that is not only elegant and beautiful, but physically translates into a structure that is able to protect people from further natural disasters was, at the end of the day, the point of the project.
Thank you for staying to the end. I know there's a lot of stuff that I missed or may not have pointed out, but I was just trying to hit the major bullet points inside this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them inside the comments, and then I'll be sure to answer them later. Thank you.